Join me on a week-long trip to Seoul. We started in Myeongdong, which is where we were staying, and the jet lag had us up early, so we kind of just walked around to see what we could do before our hair appointment at 11. I went with a friend that I met on TikTok, Go 17, Go CARAT. That is how we met, and it was a blast. So after some shopping, we headed to Juno Hair Lab to get our hair done. I did a scalp treatment, which I don't think I would do again, and then I did a digital perm on the bottom and a volume perm on the top. I'm posting this maybe 2 weeks after the trip. The volume perm was definitely not worth it, but I do love the results of the digital perm, and you'll kind of just see it throughout this entire video. I honestly almost fell asleep through the whole experience, but definitely worth it for me. After that, we went to eat, and we had our first plate of marinated crabs, which was a bucket list for me, as well as their cold noodles. You can see where we went, something quick, and then I got my portrait done. Let me include the portrait here. I did a 1-minute portrait and a 10-minute colored portrait, and you can definitely tell the difference. After that, we had a couple of shops that we really wanted to hit up, specifically the Wonu Face Shop takeover. I'm gonna be honest, I've been to Korea before if you've seen my previous vlogs, but going with someone who is also a K-pop fan made this trip exponentially different in a good way. It was nice to kind of be able to fangirl with someone who understands. So as you can tell from all of these clips, that's definitely what we did. We took a picture with every 17 ad we could find. After that, we had some street food, and I know tourist places like this are overpriced, but to be honest, overpriced compared to New York street food, it doesn't even compare. So as much as it was a little bit more than you could get in a more local area, I was willing to spend the money. After that, for day 2, we had planned to do a color analysis, so we stopped by this cafe. I did not take any videos in the color analysis just because I was so busy listening, but because it was in Hongdae, we decided to walk around that area. A lot of Hongdae was photo booths, and we told ourselves that we would take a picture in every single one, but they start to get a little repetitive, so you have to find the ones that have these really cool aspects. But we did put our photos up everywhere that we did see some extras, so if you are ever in the area, feel free to look for some of these photos. Here is a quick video. I didn't realize they came with video, so I have a compilation here of some of the cool ones that I took, and you can see another round of photos that I left. I don't know how often they refresh, so you actually probably won't see them, but it was a blast to kind of just leave my memories there. We had a list of all the places we wanted to eat, but didn't end up eating at most of them, to be honest. We ended up just going to random places that we passed by that looked good, and this was one of the random spots. The next day, we actually did our first big touristy thing, which is this tour bus that I booked through Klook. It went to the Garden of Morning Calm, and then Nami Island, and then ended at the rail park, and I have clips of all of that for you. We started this trip going to the garden. It was about a 2-hour drive, and I honestly got a little sick on the way there, but it was definitely worth the scenery. The water was beautiful, the plants were beautiful. I've got a lot of beautiful photos of myself and my Scoops photo card, which you can't see here. It was definitely nice to go in the morning, though I don't know if you can tell from the sky, it was pretty cloudy, so I wish I went on a nicer day, but even through the clouds, the sun was beating, so still a great day. After that, we went to get food. The tour actually picked this food place, and it was really good, but honestly, I wish the portions were bigger, but I think that's just my big-backed American side talking. After eating, we went to Nami Island. This was a tour that kind of just took us to the boat to the island and then led us on our own. So they kind of give you a map and they just have you walk around. The boat ride was beautiful, not very long, so I can't say it was like scenic or anything, but they had a little ostrich park with these 3 ostriches, and I think that was the peak of my Nami Island experience. They also had these cute little statues, giving very much Ghibli vibes, which I'm all for, so definitely a cute area to visit. I kind of wish I had more time on the island. I believe they gave us about an hour on it, and then we hit the rail park. I highly recommend doing this experience. At first it went really fast and honestly it was a little exhilarating, but it did slow down and you definitely have to pedal. I think it was a little stressful at times because the people behind us just was not keeping a respectful distance and we felt a little bit pressured to go faster than we wanted, but the views were still really beautiful. And at some point they kind of all just start to look the same, so by the end I didn't feel too rushed, but they had a couple of tunnels and they gave me the heebie-jeebies. This one was pretty cool. It gave off like the rice paddy aesthetic with the leaves coming on the side, but after their bubble tunnel, they had this dark, kind of ominous tunnel, and it started playing Knocking on Heaven's Door, and that definitely gave me the heebie-jeebies. Check out this clip. The song choice plus the ominous aesthetic was definitely a little out there for me. But after that, we passed by this beautiful river, and it definitely calmed me down until the next tunnel. The tour bus after dropped us off in Hongdae, and unfortunately, my addiction to claw machines was just truly feeding itself. So I put maybe $30 into this crane and did not win that otter. I'm sorry, Dino, for all the carrots out there watching this. I went to the same place for dinner and tried something new on their menu, and we move on to the next day. Finally, something I've been dying to do is try out the public transportation in Korea. Except, I don't know if you can see, the crowds were insane. After taking the train for the first time, we got ourselves a quick breakfast before heading to the palace. We rented hanboks there, though I didn't take too many clips because I have it in my last vlog, and went out to eat. Round 2 of cold noodles and a coffee as we headed to the hanbok village, which I wanted to visit for the salt bread, which I had last time, which was super good. Gotta feed the husband. And just to do some simple shopping. Oh, looking at this back, it's so embarrassing. He just didn't want to bite, I guess. After that, we did a food tour, which we booked off of Airbnb at Gwangjang Market. And I've been here before, but it was nice to do a tour, so I didn't have to walk around aimlessly. Though I'm so embarrassed. Someone asked if they could do an interview, and they asked me how I felt about the prices. And I know that on TikTok they're saying that these prices are to scam tourists. But I was like, the prices aren't bad compared to New York, and I have a strong feeling that they're gonna cut off the New York part and just make me look like a dumb tourist. But anyway, we ate a lot. I had noodles, I had pancakes, I had raw meat, I had the octopus that moved, which was honestly the best part of the meal. It's blurry, but we did have some drinks. That's probably how my eyes were looking by the end of this tour. And it was a blast. I would definitely recommend it if you don't want to put in the work, but you also can enjoy the market on your own. So I don't regret it, but I don't think I would do it again. And we ended with this donut. Next day already though, that's crazy. We decided to go to Lotte World and we decided to rent some uniforms. So here's me and my friends. This was something that's super cute and something I wasn't able to do on the last trip, so I'm glad I did as a Disney girly. It's definitely on the smaller side, but I did have people warn me beforehand, so I kind of knew what I was coming into. One thing I didn't expect is how crazy the lines were for this ride. So I bought the Magic Pass for 5 rides, and I definitely don't regret it. I think if you can afford it, it's definitely going to make your time more resourceful and just your whole trip easier. It took us a while to figure out how to use it, but overall, it was great. After that, we ate some American food. I had this kimchi fried rice with locomoco and a pizza I split. And then we headed to go shopping. We went to the Fui pop-up for these keychains that are popular. And then we went to eat at School Food. I've actually seen this chain everywhere, so it's not like a small mom and pop, but we were so hungry and we just went to the first place that we could think of. This is my Fui keychain that I got yesterday, and moving on to the next day, I definitely started breakfast with something sweet. I had this solbing or bingsu, I'm not sure which one it is, but it was strawberry based, and on the top they had this mochi with this red bean paste in the middle. Chef's kiss. If I could kiss all the chefs, I would. You can see, this is super random, but you can see my perm here, which I did not wash my hair for the first 48 hours because they told you not to, but this is definitely post-wash, and I'm really glad how it came out, though the volume just wasn't there. This is all I could finish of the souping, and then we went to get some facials. We went to Xenia Clinic, I think that's how it's pronounced, in Gangnam, and I did the inmode procedure on my chin as well as this like hydrating facial. You can see the beginnings of some bruising on the bottom of my neck before the facial, after the treatment, and then when I say this facial was the most relaxing thing in my life, I almost fell asleep. After that, because we were already in Gangnam, you know, we had to go to the restaurant that Mingyu and Jungkook and the whole 97 line ate in. It was delicious, and they also had Wonu signature there, which is my friend's bias, so it was kind of a win-win in the start of more 17 again. The sound is muted, but I was definitely there fangirling, which I felt bad at first, but then I saw other girls fangirling, so I did not feel as bad at the end. I know they say the Myeongdong area is kind of touristy and not great if you want to see what local life is like in Korea, but I genuinely enjoy it. I think it's a good center for transportation from my experience, and you see a lot of cool things like street performers like this one. Honestly, with the jet lag though, my sleep schedule wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, so we had some late night eats at this random place. Moving on to almost the end of our trip, we started by going to this cafe that we kept passing. They had all their foods in a display case in front, and we've been thinking about it almost the whole week, so we decided to try it for breakfast. I got a orange chocolate drink and this berry tart, and the berry tart actually wasn't that good, but it really shows that advertisements work. After that, we decided to visit Hybe and just have our 17 day. So right across the street from Hybe, I saw this Joshua bus, which was insane, as well as hitting up a cup sleeve event. We tried to hit a couple actually, but the line for this one was crazy and it was raining, so this was the main one we went to. Something that you don't see in the cup sleeve events in America that I loved was not only were there so many photo ops, but they had a whole photo booth with custom frames for each unit. Also kind of obsessed with this whole baby theme. I took a lot of photos there. There were a couple other cup sleeve events that we went to, but because we were kind of on the later side, most things were already sold out. So all the freebies were gone and a lot of the sleeves were gone too. After that, I lived my K-drama dreams and hit up Subway. I was a little nervous to try the Subway because so many sandwiches are almost identical to the menu back in America, but I was debating between this K-barbecue and the egg mayo, and I ended up getting the K-barbecue. Something that America could never do is when you get a foot long, they actually pack each half separately, which is crazy because us Americans will eat the whole foot long by themselves. But when I first got the sandwich, I opened it to see the K-BBQ meat, and I couldn't find it at first, but after some digging, I found it. Finished the whole thing, and then after enjoying some more random 17 in the street, I had some hotok and we went back to Olive Young, where I kind of looked around, saw the women's section for once, and we ended with a dessert. Unfortunately, our last day awaits. We started the morning by having some soup. She had some porridge and I had this chicken soup. We saw some more 17 in the wild and fangirled for the very last time before heading back to New York. We took the Myeongdong bus straight from our hotel to the airport. I'm gonna miss it with my little S-Scoops. And then we went to the lounge, which we had access to this time around, ate a little bit of lunch, and saw our final little ad, which was this Joshua ad in the airport. I'm really gonna miss seeing the ads in the airport. And with that, we headed home.